when you watch that game, there's really not much you can fault Angola because they played exactly the way they always played. They had chances, hit the crossbar or the upright. So they had some good chances. It just wasn't meant to happen.
I think the difference was just the temperament and also just how mean a defense Nigeria have got, because you can play that match 5-6 times, you won't get a worse performance from Cape Verde. And that's not to say they didn't play well. It was just a game where the Nigerians didn't give them too much. And the one occasion that they got in behind the defense, luck eluded them. The problem for me was that I thought they figured the Nigerian defense out a bit too late in the game. And so you saw a lot of these predictable movements, occupying the half spaces, but not necessarily stretching the Nigerian defense. And we'll get to the Nigerian defense a bit later on. One thing that I think, or I was surprised they didn't exploit, was the presence of Alexi Iwobi, right? If you have looked through all of Nigeria's matches and how opponents have fashioned out not chances, but openings, it's always around or with Alexi Iwobi. And I felt that, and it's not his fault, mainly because...
What's the problem with him?
He doesn't have the instincts.
His defensive awareness
it doesn't exist, because that's not his education. He doesn't have the muscle memory. So when Alassane Youssef, Francis Onyeka, or even Joel Aribo, when they are in that zone and they see a defender or the opponent with possession, they can anticipate what the opponent is going to do and respond appropriately even before it is done. Even when they fail to anticipate it, they can react well. And when we get to the video, we'll show you aspects of Alexi Iwobi's game that better opponents may exploit.
Okay, very well. Actually, let's do that. Let's get to the touch screen. Kindly come here for me. Get to the touch screen. Stoney, if you just sit here. Much better. All right. We're going to look at how Nigeria's defense is propelling them to this competition. You prepared something here to show us. Let's look at it. What have you got?
Now, for each tournament, teams evolve.
Yes.
The evolution sometimes happens by accident, or sometimes a eureka moment, a moment of epiphany, where the coach stumbles onto a new method or a way of playing. For Nigeria, it was the injury to Alassane Youssef. In his first game, a lot of people did not know him. Now, this guy got into the Nigerian team after the injury to Wilfred Ndidi.
Yes.
So Ndidi gets injured, Jose Peseiro looks around, there's a certain guy at Royal Antwerp, and then decides to bring him into the team. So late call-up into the team. This is a team that had been prepared without Alassane Youssef.
Right.
He didn't go to any of their pre-tournament games, the World Cup qualifiers. He didn't get the team. He didn't get the chance to train with the team. He just came in, final few training sessions after Ndidi's injury. In the first game, he took to life as a duck hold to water. Brilliant performances. He kept the distribution very simple. And also, beyond providing the screen and being the link between midfield and attack, Nigeria created 6 chances in that game versus Equatorial Guinea. He created one of them.
So deep in midfield.
From deep in midfield. So this was a player who had shown himself to be someone who knew the task and quickly assimilated to the needs of the team and excelled on that first game. Unfortunately, he got injured. So Peseiro had to reshuffle the pack and introduce someone into the team. But unlike what most coaches have failed to do in this tournament, he did not only throw in a new player, he completely changed the way the team was set up and then changed the job description of the 2 midfielders in that team. And also how the team moved to ensure that those movements were synchronized. And we're going to show you here those synchronized movements and how important they have been for Nigeria. If you could quickly press play. Right.
It's right in front of you.
So you are going to see here, Fence, press the back button for me. We may have to take the third.
This is the first video?
This is the first video. We're going to see here 2 phases of Nigeria's game.
Okay.
The defense that we spoke about, and then why, beyond the defense, when they get the ball, you can tell that they know what they are about in terms of how they move the ball from midfield to attack. Okay. Now, this is a foul that Nigeria have just given away. And this time, it's the former Chelsea defender who came in for, I think, Trustekon.
Okay.
Yes.
Omeru.
Kenneth Omeru. Now, this is important because this is supposed to be their makeshift back line. This is without their best defender.
Look at how tight Nigeria are at the back.
In true Stekon. Now, after the injury to Alassane Yusuf, they went for a back three, 2 holding midfielders, 2 wing backs. Yeah. So Zaidu Sanusi on the left, Ola Aina on the right, and then 3 defenders at the back. Frank Onyeka, Alexi will be at the base, which essentially gives the freedom to the front 3 to go on and then do their bit. So you have Victor Osimhen, Simon Moses, Ademola Lookman sorting the job out there. Now, this is Guinea-Bissau attempting 72nd minute of Nigeria's final group game, right, to get behind the defense. Now, they are knocking the ball around them looking for the space, not because they like the pace at which the game is moving. Often when teams do this, it is because the spaces are not opening up. The movements of the ball are being tracked. So you will see that this young man here, you will see that the players for Guinea-Bissau have all been picked up.
Yeah.
Now, the options that the midfielder has here have all been picked up. The only option he has is a safe pass here. And by the time he makes that pass, there is a player close enough, Ademola Lookman, to track him, cut out the danger even before it happens. So we're going to progress the play and then pay attention to the players, the immediate options that the Equatorial Guineans or the Guinea-Bissau players have got and the way the Nigerians react to them. Each player has been picked up. So that obvious pass is made quickly. What do we see here?
2 players.
Ola Aina engages, and he doesn't go alone. He goes there, and then you see Ademola Lookman also joining him, right? So you see 2 things here. You see the shape and application.
That's right.
So the player spots and under normal circumstance, he could have been well within his right to stay in his zone and not engage, right? Aina could have been well within his right to stay in his zone and not engage because what? This action spot is about 20 or 30 yards from Nigeria's vital area, but he engages.
So they force him to go back.
They force him to go back. And look at what happens here. So about 3 players quickly close down the space. Now,
so he's forced to go long.
He's forced to go, which was smart. However, what is Nigeria's reaction? Quickly, they close down the option that he has, and then they get into shape again. So you're going to find at each point, movement that responds to what Guinea-Bissau have got, and more importantly, the options that they could essentially pass the ball to.
I mean, look at it in this situation that we're talking about. Look at the number of Guinea-Bissau players here. And none of them has any space at all.
No one has a space. So it's completely crowded. Right? It is completely
And
crowded.
look at the Nigerian defenders. They are connected in ways that are, like, it's fantastic. And that's the application you speak about.
And it's all been coached. Now, in the past, when we talk about overloads and the triangles that teams create, we think of it in the attacking sense and how teams use that when in possession of the ball. So they create overloads and switch play. Nigeria are using this fantastically in the defensive sense. So they are crowding out the areas where they know who they want to pass the ball to.
Yeah.
So they are cutting out the space for those players and ensuring.
So in other words, Nigeria are totally comfortable with Equatorial Guinea passing the ball around this space.
They don't care. They don't care.
Because over here, there is absolutely no danger.
No.
So you can pass the ball around here.
No.
All you want.
In fact, come here. They don't care. That's why, if you check the stats, you realize that Nigeria have the least percentage as far as possession is concerned.
In fact, before this tournament, the teams that are winning have never dominated possession, except South Africa.
Yes.
Every other team has not.
So Nigeria had the least. Before the Angola match, they had less than 45% of possession. And guess what? Against Angola, they had 45% of ball possession.
All right.
So
shall we look at another video?
Yes, we're going to quickly progress play, and you'd realize that they sort this out. Now, when it feels, what happens? The application again.
Yeah.
Quick, reactive response to it and gets the ball away. Now, let's pay attention to what Nigeria do here. When you have seen the Black Stars play, when you have seen Cameroon play, when they are under pressure, what do? They go long. Egypt, they do same. In fact, Pesero could have told his players that there are 5 players in this area. Get the ball out of the danger zone because if one player misplaces a pass, Guinea-Bissau could pounce. 73 minutes, this is not the time to take risks. But the manager says no. This is how we get the ball into the opponent's area. And so check out what Nigeria do with the ball. Calmness, movement of the ball to present as options. Ola Aina. Iwobi gives a pass, he dashes. Kenneth Omeru gets the ball calmly. So because Iwobi dashes, he's able to receive the ball. Another of the ball movement to Chukwueze. He's able to receive the pass. And in a matter of seconds, pay attention to the sheer number of Nigerian bodies that have joined the attack to ensure that they have significant numbers to combine with. So they could well lose possession, but they will have the numbers to react. Add these two, because within 3 seconds, you're going to see all of them occupy spaces in the Guinea-Bissau half of the pitch. Yes. So Chukwueze has the ball. He holds it up, and here you see the sea of white players progressing to join them. How many do you count now? 6. 6 actually.
7.
And when we move it on, you find other players also joining. So this is what has made Nigeria a very good team at this AFCON.
Very well.
But they are not at all invincible. And we're going to show you the other aspect of the game when they've looked vulnerable. And I put vulnerable in quotation marks, and how they've responded to that. So earlier, I spoke about Alex Iwobi.
Yes.
Now, if in the first game, Nigeria completely shut out Equatorial Guinea, because Alassane Yusuf is a pure holding midfielder, undiluted. He understands the job. He knows what he has to do. If you introduce Alex Iwobi, he is essentially re-educating himself on the job. So there are going to be instances where the coach wouldn't be there to tell him that track this run. But because he doesn't have the instinct, he will not be able to. So, and that has nearly cost Nigeria against Angola. Right? And this is important because this is the last game that they played. Now, pay attention to how they move the ball. Again, you see one of the nice habits of Nigeria. He knows there is a danger. He moves out of his zone, side to Sanusi, and then cuts out the pass. Now, after winning possession, there is a turnover here, which doesn't particularly go well. Angola decide to attack, and this is where you begin to see the frailty of Iwobi. Iwobi looks completely lost. Now, when Angola get the ball here, Iwobi is supposed to pick up his marker. So he is occupying that space. Pay attention to Alex Iwobi. He's occupying that space, and pay attention to the movements that he makes. Because when the team doesn't have the ball and you're moving to close down a space, or you're moving to pick out an opponent. Now, Iwobi looks lost in this sequence. And if you look at... So we're going to bring that back and show you a zone where Angola are going to pass through. Pay attention to this whole area. Pay attention to this whole area. This is where Iwobi is supposed to be occupying. This is Frank Onyeka, I believe. He cannot be in this area and still be here at the same time. That is why Iwobi should be here. There's Calvin Bassey here, who moves up because he recognizes the danger here to engage. That's because they've been able to short circuit or circumvent Alex Iwobi in 2 phases. So this is the first part. He fails to pick out the run. Now he's been caught in no man's land. And when the pass eventually comes, he doesn't react well.
Interesting.
But even in that situation when the midfield is breached, still, who's there to block that pass? Troost-Ekong again. In the video that we showed you, there were 2 instances where Kenneth Omeru made 2 of those last-ditch tackles when the ball got in behind the midfield.
So again, application.
Awareness
of creation.
Exactly.
Awareness, creating awareness and being
able to respond. And so what,
in the sight of danger.
Yes, what viewers need to understand is this. Even for the best of teams, you are not going to control all game state scenarios for 90 minutes. There's going to be that one moment where the player is going to be caught sleeping, right?
And in the case of Nigeria, every time that has happened, the back line
comes to the rescue because of the application and because they anticipate what is good. So in this video that we showed...
So they are covering for the weaknesses of some of their teammates.
So in this video that we showed you, in the very first sequence, Calvin Bassey steps up when he realizes that Iwobi has lost his marker, right? You're going to see that sequence. We'll show you there. He doesn't wait for the danger to happen. He steps up here.
That's right.
And then when the game progresses, and the final pass is actually played into the penalty area, then you see another intervention this time from the defender in Troost-Ekong. Friends, let's go back to the final video.
Okay.
Which shouldn't take us too long. And again, from the same game. And this is where Nigeria can be vulnerable. Now, for teams that often sit deep or apply these compact blocks, one of the ways you can get behind them is with pace, dribbling ability, incisive
individual
pass.
skill.
Yes. In this instance, we're going to show you how, with individual dribbling ability, the Angolans got in behind the midfield, but not for too long. Because as we've established, the Nigerians have got an excellent shape and they have players who apply themselves. So mistakes can happen. Players can be caught out of possession, but as always, they will respond. Pay attention to Ola Aina, gets dribbled here, but he recovers fantastically and ensures that the ball doesn't get any further than necessary.
Yes.
Right? So he doesn't stay there. Quickly, he's able to recover.
Yeah.
And the danger recedes for now. But Angola are persistent, so they will move the ball forward. And here, you see one of the things that has made Angola very good in this tournament. So when they get the ball, there is no messing around.
Look at that.
It's
a brilliant pass. Because
there is no messing around. So before Nigeria can regroup and then get in, and look at this. The Nigerian shape is not at all horrible. So the back line is at rest. However, Angola have the ball in behind the midfield.
Yes.
So you're going to find that the entire space here is occupied by 3 Angolan players.
Yes.
You may decide not to count him, but that would also mean 2 players. And then this young man here, who is being marked by Zaidu Sanusi, is also someone in the equation that they can pass the ball to. Or they could go to the right side and then locate him with the pass. But it all happens because there was a mistake from, I think, Samuel Chikwueze in the past that he wanted to quickly transition play. It didn't work out, and so they lost possession. Angola had the chance to move forward, and they weren't messing around. Quickly, that pass came through.
And that should have been a goal, to be fair.
Yes. So if you are going to find the Nigerians in trouble, you probably have to do it wide. Because in central areas, unless they are making a mistake, it's difficult. And we've shown you how they move together, press like a wolf pack when the ball gets too close to the comfort area. But more importantly, is the players' ability to take responsibility and react to the situations. Even when the teammates make mistakes, they will clear the ball. So the True Second video, you saw him clapping and asking his teammate to get close. But that was after he had sorted out the danger. And that's what makes the Nigerian team so good at this tournament.
Fantastic. Thank you, Atsu. So brilliant analysis on Nigeria and how they're winning matches in this competition. Basically, key things, the coach showing an ability to adjust to the personnel that he has, adjust his system to the personnel, and the one most important thing is that the players are applying themselves. And True Second said after the game that he hopes that the victory and the qualification to the semi-finals has won them a few doubters. It's won a few doubters onto their side. And truly, people like Stone now believe that anything is possible. We had him here. Thankfully, the videos are there. Before the start of the competition, he didn't seem to have any hope. Now he's here shouting and very excited about what is possible for them. All right, you're watching AFCON today live on 99.7 Joy FM as well as on the Joy Prime TV channel.